Let's very quickly discuss that what Ricardian theory or David Ricardo's theory of comparative advantage has to offer to you all. See, let's consider country A, country B. There are two goods that we are currently dealing with, wheat and cloth. Country A is advantageous or efficiently producing both the goods. In 1 hour, country A produces 9 units of wheat A and 8 units of cloth. Country B is disadvantageous. Country B cannot perform well in both the goods. It's just like that a student जिसका मैथ साइंस बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा है और दूसरा स्टूडेंट जिसका मैथ साइंस काफ़ी ज़्यादा बुरा है. नाउ फर्स्ट लेट्स सी दिस. 1 घंटे में वीट ये 9 यूनिट्स, 8 यूनिट्स. यही 1 घंटे में वीट्स 3 यूनिट्स, 4 यूनिट्स. मतलब ए आउट परफॉर्म्स बी. यूनिट इज जस्ट लाइक दैट. देयर इज अ स्टूडेंट. देयर आर 2 स्टूडेंट्स इन अ क्लासरूम. वन इज मीरा and other is Sam. Now Meera scores 20 marks out of 20 in maths and 19 out of 20 in science. Sam scores 10 in maths and 8 in science. Now just see that Meera is performing well in both the subjects and Sam is not performing well in both the subjects. When we say that Meera is performing well in both the subjects, in which subject does Meera has a comparative advantage? यानी कि मैथ साइंस में 1 घंटा देने पर भी मैथ्स में द स्कोर इज 20 एंड साइंस में ओनली 19. सो ऑल्दो मीरा इज परफॉर्मिंग वेरी वेल इन बोथ द सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ मीरा, यू कैन नोट इट डाउन समवेयर. मीरा हैज अ comparative means comparatively Meera is at an advantageous position. Meera is in comparative advantage in maths. हालांकि she has outperformed all the rest of the students. Let's say that everyone in the science has got below 18, but she's the one who has scored 19. But still, Meera is good in both the subjects, I do agree, but Meera is comparatively good in maths as compared to science. Sam is, although not performing well in either of the subjects, he has just scored 10 in maths and 8 in 20, but still, Sam is at a less disadvantageous position in maths, or we can say Sam is comparatively at a less disadvantageous position in maths as compared to science. So basically you can say कि Meera has an absolute advantage in production of both the goods. Sam, or in doing both the subjects. Sam has an absolute disadvantage in doing both the subjects, but Meera has a comparative advantage in maths and Sam has a less comparative disadvantage in maths. That is, Sam is at a less disadvantageous position as compared to science. यानी कि Sam 1 घंटा बढ़ता है तो he is not able to perform good in both the subjects, but at least he is able to score a bit higher in maths as compared to science. And this is what is David Ricardo's theory all about. Like, we have 2 countries, A and B. Country A, now listen to me carefully, the language do matter here a lot. Country A is at an absolute advantageous position in the production of wheat and cloth. Country B is at an absolute disadvantageous position. Country B is at an absolute disadvantageous position in the production of wheat and cloth. Country A has a comparative advantage in wheat as compared to cloth. Country B has a less disadvantage in cloth as compared to wheat. Or we can say country B is at a less disadvantageous production. Country B is at a less disadvantageous position in case of production of cloth as compared to wheat. So it is suggested that country A, although produces both wheat and cloth very efficiently, but produce wheat 9 units in 1 hour, because still the production in wheat is 1 unit more than cloth. Country B is not able to perform both the goods efficiently, but still at least country B is good in performing or good in producing cloth, so country B is suggested to produce cloth. So this is what he will make wheat and he will exchange. He will make cloth and he will exchange. So the thing is that this is what David Ricardian's theory of comparative advantage is all about. In comparative advantage now, we have to consider both the things. We have to talk about absolute advantages and absolute disadvantages, as well as comparative advantages and comparative disadvantages. Let me revise this. Country A is at an absolute advantageous production in the wheat and cloth. Country B has a absolute disadvantage in production of wheat and cloth. But country A is at a comparatively advantageous position in the production of wheat. And country B is at a less, country B comparatively is at a less disadvantageous production in case of cloth as compared to wheat. So हम जब इंट्रा कंपेरिजन करते हैं तब हम डिसएडवांटेजेस कंपेरेटिव वर्ड्स का यूज़ करते हैं. जब हम बी में इन दोनों यूनिट्स में कंपेरिजन करें तभी भी हम कंपेरेटिव वर्ड का यूज़ करते हैं. यू वुड हैव सीन मी व्हेन आई से in a collective basis that country A is at an absolute advantageous position. Again, I am saying on a collective basis that country B is at an absolute disadvantageous position. But when I specifically refer country A ka wheat 9 and cloth ka 8 units, then I say that country A is comparatively advantageous in the production of wheat as compared to cloth. And when I say country B, when I'm doing intra comparison, like within the country, then what I say is that in case of country B, although country B is at a less disadvantageous position, or we can say country B is at an absolute disadvantageous position when it comes to wheat and cloth, but country B is comparatively at a less disadvantageous position when it comes to production of cloth as compared to wheat, because it is able to produce one more unit of cloth as compared to wheat. So it is suggested that country A should continue with the production of wheat, and country B is suggested to continue with the production of cloth. That means country A should produce that cloth in which it has comparative more advantage. Country B should produce that cloth in which it has comparative less disadvantage.